Hello, welcome. My name is Tracy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Australia. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's Tuesday, so it's CASEing the Catalogue day, and all this month we've been focusing on the Stampin' Up holiday catalogue, and we are doing that again this week. We are focusing on page 25 in the Nothing Sweeter bundle, which is this gorgeous set here, which I really love. It's got Christmas trees, hearts, and presents, as well as some really great sentiments there. And the card we're making today is this one just here, which is really, really pretty. It's the presents. So on page 25, I'm going to bring in that card right here. And isn't that just an absolutely beautiful card? You can see the shimmer from those rhinestones there. So let's get started. For this card, I've used the Nothing Sweeter bundle, which is the Nothing Sweeter stamp set, which has got 17 images, and also the Sweetly Stitched framelit dies. Now, I really love that Stampin' Up have brought out a whole heap of stitched frames. So this one has 3 images, a present, a Christmas tree, and a heart, and there's 2 different dies that go with it. So one is a stitched die, and the other one cuts out the solid image. So that's really, really clever. There's also 2 stitched framelits here as well, which we are using today. There's a snowflake and also some stars. So like I said before, you buy these 2 together and you save yourself 10%, which is a great discount there. I'm also using for this tag here the Wood Words and Wood Crate framelits. That has a label in it there. Also, you can use the Santa's Workshop, also has in the dies, they have a tag as well that could be used. So I'm just the inks that I have are Real Red, Garden Green, and Coastal Cabana. And I'm also using the Simply Striped embossing folder. We have the White Baker's Twine as well as the dark Real Red stamping blend, and that's just for colouring in the rhinestones. If you already have the rhinestones, the Real Red rhinestones that are in the catalogue, use those ones. I just didn't sort of want to buy them when I can make my own. So, and I also have the card kit here. And for the card kit's measurements and supplies, you can find that on my blog, and that's in the description of this video. There's also a link to my online store and a Hostess code. So if you're placing an order, please use the Hostess code and I'll send you out a free gift. So we have a piece of Real Red cardstock, which is the card base, which I'm just going to, I've already scored, I'm just going to fold and burnish. Then we have the card matting here that is going to be embossed. Then we have 2 pieces of Whisper White here. We have the smaller one is going to be using that die cut shaping. We're going to do that. And then this one's going to be for the stamping. So we're going to do the stamping first so then we can bring the big shot in and do all the big shot. This one's going to be for the stamping. So we're going to do the stamping first so then we can bring the big shot in and do all the big shot things that we need to do. I would also have a piece of the Garden Green for this ribbon here as well. So these are all photopolymer stamp sets. So I'm going to bring in my mat. And I'm also going to bring in a piece of old paper just so I can stamp off. So I have a solid present as well as the outline of the present. And I found if I did the outline first, it just made it so much easier to put together. So I'm going to start off with the lightest colour first, which is the Coastal Cabana. I'm going to ink up my outline, and I'm going to stamp that straight down, full strength. There we go. Then I'm going to take my solid image and I'm going to stamp that off once. And then stamp that straight over the top. You can line that all up, that should be fine. There we go. And then we have these little ribbon pieces that go down the middle. So I'm going to ink that one up and stamp that full strength as well. And there's a smaller depth here, and then it's larger down here, so the larger bit goes to the bottom of the present. Now on our presents we have two different designs here. We have stars, and this one has little dots. I'm just going to bring in a scrap piece of Whisper White, and I'm just going to mask off that middle ribbon bit, and taking the stars, I'm just going to ink up some stars on that present. There we go. And then I'm just going to do the other side as well. Just masking that off. Beautiful. So that's that one. I'm going to bring in my Simply Chamois and just clean off those stamps there. So the next one we're going to do is Garden Green. So bringing Garden Green in, I'm going to do the outline first, full strength. Then the solid image, I'm going to stamp off and stamp down over the top. Beautiful. And then our long ribbon on the side. Beautiful. So I'm going to bring my chamois in again, clean that off. And the next one is Real Red. So with the Real Red, we're going to do our outline again. The solid image we're going to stamp off twice because it's too dark otherwise. Gives it that nice little like pink feel to it. There we go. And also the ribbon down the side of the present. And we're going to bring in our mask again, and I have these little dots here, and we're going to just give that present that detail with the dots, almost like sprinkles they are. Down to the other side. And while I've still got the inks out, I need to bring back the Garden Green. And I also need to clean off the outline and the ribbon because we're going to stamp that on the piece of Garden Green cardstock. So give that a quick clean. And this chamois works so well. It really does get off all that ink. So bringing in the Garden Green piece, we're going to ink up, put the ribbon in, and we're going to fussy cut just that ribbon piece out. So I might do that bit before I bring in the big shot. Let's just cut out that gorgeous ribbon. That's it there. So I'm going to bring the big shot in now and we'll do all our die cutting. So we're going to do our embossing for our card front. So I'm going to place it in, because I want it on a stripe. So that's good. Open up the platform. And I pop that through, and then I'll just do that little edge that didn't quite fit in. Just going to try and line that up as best as I can. I think I just moved it one sec. There we go. So that only misses that little bit. I could have lined it up that little bit better, but that doesn't worry me at all. So now if we open the big shot up, and we're going to cut out our beautiful presents, and I need my outline present, cutting plate on top. Also did my little tag on that piece as well. So if I bring in that little piece of Whisper White, I'm also going to bring in the zigzag die. And I'm just going to line, I'm going to line up one of these points to the ends of each tip, and then making sure it runs along the top there, and then I'll be able to line up each one underneath that by lining up those points again. Doesn't that give a great feature? So what I'm doing is I'm lining up those edges again, tips to the edge, and just trying to make sure that they have the same distance between each one. And that's what it gives, that great detail there. So one little last bit of stamping, and that's for our tag. So I have the sentiment that says, "Just for you." Better bring my mat back in just in case I want to get an even coverage. Whoop. And I'll line that one up in the middle. Beautiful. So for the rhinestones here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my rhinestones and my Stampin' Blends, which is the dark real red, and I'm just going to colour in, I've got 5 there, so I'm just going to colour in 5. and the alcohol markers really pick that colour up really well. So you can change your rhinestones to any colour you want as long as you've got the alcohol marker Stampin' Blends. So while they're just drying, what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer everything together onto my card. So this one we're going to pop up with some dimensionals. I'm going to put one on each corner and then one in the middle. And the other thing is where we had that extra bit that we had to go back in and re-emboss, I'm going to stick that down on the bottom left-hand side. Don't want it up the top or anywhere where you can really see it. So I'm going to place that down evenly. There we go. Now using the die cut piece that we've stitched along, I'm just going to stick some Tombow glue and glue that one all down. Doesn't this give a great detail to the card? So many things you can do with that stitched edging too. There we go. I'm just going to place these along where I sort of want them. Okay, so I'm going to glue my red one down. And my Coastal Cabana. And then we're also going to stick the ribbon that we've cut out, stick that one down. There we go. So just gluing that down with some Tombow as well. And we're going to pop this one up with dimensionals. Doesn't that just set that little present off? Looks really pretty. I might put 3 on that one. Yeah. Okay. Now with the tag, I've used some Whisper White twine. Just get rid of those kinks. And I'm just going to tie a knot through the middle of that tag. To double knot it, and I'm just going to cut off those tails. I've got a mini dimensional to stick on that one. I'm just going to stick two of those at the top. And placing it down like that, so it's sort of sticking off. And I'm just going to cut down those tails just a little bit more. Beautiful. Now this is an old sheet where we still have these are all joined together, so I'm just going to cut up the middle of each one. Place that one down first because it come off. So cut up in between each one of those. Oh, they all come up. Now I like these because they don't stand out and be gaudy, but they do set that whole card off. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed the card. If you have, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Don't forget to head over to my blog and you can see all the measurements and supplies there. There is also my online store in the link of this video, so if you would need any Stampin' Up products and you live in Australia and you don't already have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. Pop in that host code and I can send you out a free gift. Until next week, I'll see you then. Bye.